Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Inner Light Ministries, our virtual Sunday offering. I'm Reverend Deborah Johnson, also known of as Rev D. Let's just take a breath, huh? We breathe in the energy of life. We breathe in the goodness. We take this time to just center ourselves. We allow ourselves to be fully present because life is truly in session. Woo! What a time we are in. And we come here to remember. We come here to remember the truth of our being, that we are not our stuff. We are not the news. We are not politics. We are not our finances. We are not our relationships. We're not whatever's going on with our body temples. We are greater than the sum total of all of that. We bless you and are so grateful that you are with us, whether this is your very first time and we say double welcome, or whether you've been with us for years. We know that in this extraordinary moment, that now is the time when we all have to rally together and raise up our vibration to the highest levels so that we can bring forth the beloved community right here on earth. I want to remind you of the Inner Light Purpose statement. You'll see it as it comes up on your screen. Inner Light is an open, diverse, inclusive community of individuals and organizations dedicated to spiritual transformation. We provide tools for activating higher possibilities by applying universal spiritual principles to all circumstances. Our aim is personal and global healing through the omni-faith energy of love and the revealing of our own inner light. Promoting life's sacred interconnectedness, we embody spiritual oneness, appreciate individualized expressions, and honor all paths that lead to spiritual truth, justice, and ecological regeneration. That's why we're here. Breathe that in. And, I suspect that if you're here, that's resonating in your soul. That this is no accident, regardless of the time that you may be tuning into this, or how many times that you may be tuning into this. Out of all the places that you could possibly be in the world, you're here. That's a divine appointment. So I want you to listen. Don't just listen to me, okay? But listen to the spirit. Okay, something's calling you, something's talking to you. Our motto is take this consciousness and multiply. See, because the truth can't be patented. It's everywhere present. We just offer tools that help us to reveal it, that help us to connect to it all. And one of those tools that we offer every week are affirmative activations. These are 100 words to change your life, to change your perspective. They are paradigms, they are principles, they're practices, they are perceptions. They're ways of being in the world. As we embody them, then we can become a greater place of expression and reflection for them. We're going to be going over them together, and it will be inviting you to come back and to visit this, share it, pass it on, because the more that we repeat something, it becomes part of our subconscious. and then it moves to the place of embodiment. It becomes the foundation for us then and the place from which we move. We're talking today about a more perfect union. A more perfect union. So I invite you, if you can, to say the affirmations along with me. We are all created out of the same divine energy. We are privileged to be sharing our spiritual journeys with one another. What an honor it is to co-create the beloved community. We are here for such a time as this. There's a great cosmic unfolding of the next iteration of human evolution. We're at the forefront, vanguards of the unleashing of our greater yet to be. We ensure that everyone has the opportunity to flourish. Wholeness is the order of the day. Together, we bring forth the best that is within us. Thank you for being you. Soak this in for a moment. And notice if there's something that's calling out to you. Maybe there's a great cosmic unfolding of the next iteration of human evolution. Or together we bring forth the best that is within us. We're all created out of the same divine energy. Notice if there's anything that's kind of tugging at you a little bit, or you find yourself resisting. Maybe something like wholeness is the order of the day. Or we are here for such a time as this. Thank you for being you. Just notice. And whatever that is, if it's something that's calling out to you, or if it's something you find yourself turning away from, either way, there's something really, really important there. And I invite you to come back and pay a little bit extra attention on whatever that is towards a more perfect union. Take a breath. And to further help open us up, help to cultivate our consciousness for the message that's wanting and trying to come through today, we're going to tee up a video by a couple of friends of mine, just a beautiful, beautiful couple out of the Santa Rosa area, Melissa Felipe and Z Egloff.
One world, one people, one hope, one life, one voice, one song, one spirit, one light, just one. Only one. One choice, one freedom, one truth, one light, one joy, one peace, one power, one life, just one. Only one. What you gonna do about the problems of the world? Do you want another view? Then stop. Take your brother by the hand and stop. Tell your sister that she can, cause we'll go a little farther, last a little longer when we help each other out, make each other stronger. Who's gonna do it?
You and me.
Why we gonna do it?
Cause it sets us free.
One world, one people, one hope, one life, one voice, one song, one spirit, one night, just one. Only one. One choice, one freedom, one truth, one light, one joy, one peace, one power, one life, just one. Only one.
There is only one. One power, only one.
way. I won't do it, not today. Maybe when I'm richer, or stronger, or kinder. Then I'll be a good boy, then I'll be a nice girl. Then I'll help the people with the problems of the whole world. Whoops, try again, cause there's another way. When you share a little love, it'll make your day. It'll make you richer, and stronger, and kinder. Now is the time, it'll blow your mind. One world, one people, one hope, one life, one voice, one song, one spirit, one life, just one. Only one. One choice, one freedom, one truth, one light, one joy, one peace, one power, one life, just one. Only one.
There is only one. One power, only one. One thing going on. One. We do our part when we live our days surrendering to what we can become. Keep on remembering that there is only one. There is
Share
only
your love with the one, share your joy with the one, share your light with the one, cause there's only one. Share your peace with the one, share your truth with the one, share your spirit with the one, cause there's only one. Share your voice with the one, share your peace with the one, share your presence with the one, cause there's only one. Share your life with the one, share your bliss with the one, share your soul with the one, cause there's only one. Share your world with the one, share your power with the one, share your love with the one, cause there's only one. Share your love with the one, share your joy with the one, share your life with the one, cause there's only one. Share your hope with the
Keep
one,
on
share your truth with the
remembering
one, share your
that
spirit
there
with the one, cause
is
there's only one.
only
Share your voice with the one, share your peace with the one, share your presence with the one, cause there's only one. Share your life with
Keep
the
on
one, share your bliss with the
remembering
one, share your
that
soul
there
with the one,
is
cause there's only
only
one.
one.
Just take a breath on that. Let me say thank you to Melissa and Z. Take another breath. You know, we most associate that phrase towards a more perfect union with President Abraham Lincoln of his presidency. And he was ushering the United States of America through the Civil War. That he was making it very plain that there was a principle, there was a calling. There was something that was even bigger and greater than what we were actually doing, and that we hadn't arrived. That this divine experiment of the people, for the people, by the people, that it was a work in progress. And not only was it work in progress, but that we were always progressing, always striving for something. Not in a sense of dissatisfaction, but because it can always be better. Anybody that's really good at anything is always looking to be better. Whatever, if they're a musician, if they're an athlete, they could be a scientist. They could even be a chef. They're always looking at a teacher, a partner in a loving relationship. We never get to the point where we've just arrived and we're sitting on our laurels. We have to keep repeating. You can't just do it once. You keep doing it again and again and again. And because you're going to do it again, you have the choice to say, am I just going to do the status quo? Am I just going to do what I always did? Or today, when I have to recreate it, when I have to do it again, is there something else that I can bring to the table? Once again, it's not out of dissatisfaction. It's not because this was bad or this wasn't good enough. It's the recognition that there's more, that there's more. There's always more poetry. There's more music. There's more love. There's more justice. There's more creativity. There's more partnering. It's infinite, infinite, which is why we're always breaking records. It's a record until somebody else comes along who's able to do even more of that, or faster, or whatever that particular measurement is going to be. This is the stuff of evolution. This is the stuff of evolution. And I mean evolution in the broadest and biggest sense. That nothing stands still. Nature doesn't stand still. We're embarking now upon the springtime. It's this reminder how the universe goes through its phases, it goes through its stages. Just like the darkest hour is always right before the dawn. That the spring follows the winter. When it looks like we've gone through the fall, the autumns of our lives, things are falling away. Even when the quiet hush within our own lives of the winter, when things are going in and under and getting a little respite, regenerating. There comes the spring. There comes the spring. There comes the rebirth. There comes the renewal. There comes the evolution onward and upward. Life is never trying to repeat where it was before. No. The spring is not trying to be the same spring it was last year. It's not mourning the seasons that it's gone through to be the spring now. And such it is with our lives. Such it is with our lives. When President Lincoln was first talking about this more perfect union, he was speaking specifically about this new nation that was not even a good century old at the time, saying that it'll be a democracy if we can keep it. But there were forces that were coming in within the nation that were tearing it apart, wanting to go in these different directions. The big issue of the day was actually around slavery. Okay. This inequity. Now, mind you, the Civil War was not fought to end slavery. That's not true. The Confederacy wanted to break off from the Union in order to expand slavery. Listen to what I'm saying. To expand slavery as an economic issue, because the slaves were considered to be personal property. They were not considered to be human beings. They were chattel, even though their presence was allowed to be used for representation in Congress for their slave, quote unquote, masters. The slaves themselves were just property. So the thinking being, in this rugged individualistic society, you can't limit people's right to be prosperous. You can't limit how many possessions they have. And they shouldn't lose their possessions just because they cross a state line. So because we had set up a system of slave states and free states, there were some states where you didn't have the right to own other people. What they were wanting to do, the Confederacy, was expand that right, to expand it. There was the understanding that the nation wasn't going to be able to handle this. It was a kick the can down the road. When the nation first started and allowed slave states and free states, they knew that couldn't last, but they just kicked it down the road. So at this particular time, the Confederacy thought, hey, because of recent Supreme Court decisions like the Dred Scott decision, they felt they were justified, that they were right. And I'm not being offensive, this is in their papers, that they were going to be the first nation on the planet built upon the immutable idea of white supremacy. That was it. And you know what? We're still fighting this battle. We're still fighting it. And what was racial supremacy, we have now let it morph into nationalism and national supremacy. We're in really dangerous territory here about who we're going to be, who we are, not just as a nation, but as a human civilization. This more perfect union now far exceeds just an issue, a political issue about who we are as the United States of America, but who are we as global citizens? Who are we as brothers and sisters and anything in between that gender construct of who are we to one another and who are we to the planet? See, these are profoundly spiritual issues. Profoundly. I'm finding too many people now are checking out. They're checking out. They don't want to think about all this stuff anymore. But let me tell you something, that just because something has been politicized does not make it political. Okay? Clean water isn't a political issue. Clean water is an issue of human survival. It cuts across nations and continents. It doesn't know color or political party. Clean air. Clean air doesn't care about your national boundaries. These are common goods that are here and available to all of us. And we have to accept the responsibility for it. Okay? We have to act like we are, in fact, a part of the world. That we are a part of humanity. And that is, quote unquote, Americans, we don't get to be exempt from caring for each other or caring for the planet. We just don't have that right, especially since we're only 5% of the world's population, but consuming 35% of the world's natural resources. Yes, Americans, American companies, we use up 35% of the world's resources. I contend then that gives us an extra responsibility to not only participate in this more perfect union of who can we be? Who can we be as children of the Most High here together, sharing this exquisite thing called the planet? This is not political. This is universal. I'm talking about fundamental spiritual truth here. This nation is going so far away, so quickly from being a responsible citizen, both with our people in our own nation and within the world. We're on this slippery slope now, and we can't afford to slip anymore. I'm not asking you to just go out and be political. I'm asking you to be human. Can we be human now? Can we stand up for each other as one common human family, all created by the same universal power, the same universal energy that creates everything? We are not separate. The only thing that ever needs to be healed is just a sense of separation. And now, as a nation, we have become wedded to being separate, wedded to separating each other. No. No. The narrative that's going around now is that somehow or another, the election of 2024 created some kind of mandate for the havoc and the chaos that we're seeing now. And the message that we're getting from the administration is that the people voted for this. Like, we voted for this. No, we did not. And we need to be very vocal and very clear about it. The chaos that we're seeing is coming out of the 900 plus playbook of Project 2025, which we did not vote for, nor did we approve. So you can't have it both ways as an administration. You can't run on a campaign that continuously says, we don't have anything to do with Project 2025. We haven't read it. We don't know anything about it. That has nothing to do with us. And then when you get in office, say, oh, but you voted this. When you voted us in, you approved this. You can't have it both ways. It can't be, we have nothing to do with this, and you also pre-approved it. Doesn't work that way. Okay? It did not work that way. We did not. Take a breath. Take a breath. So this week, this is where the United States stood on the global stage. I want to share something with you. It's going to come up on the screen. It's a last minute slide, so I apologize if it's a little small, so come back to it. But I wanted to get it all on one slide so you get it. The United Nations back in 2015 created this thing. It was called the Sustainable Development Goals. It took many years to develop it. It was finally adopted in 2015. And essentially, it is around these 5 things: the people, planet, prosperity, and partnerships. People, planet, prosperity, and partnerships. Everything falls under that umbrella. There's 17 goals and 196 targets. Okay, targets were like the specific things that are supposed to happen. Now, mind you, 10 years ago, all of the nations, all 193 nations, the whole world got behind this. And critical to it is the role of private business, corporations. In a nutshell, these are the 17 goals, and these are the abbreviated ways that the United Nations speaks of it. These goals are part of an Agenda 2030, similar to what I was just speaking about, Project 2025, this ultra-conservative from American think tanks. Well, the whole world got together and created an Agenda 2030. With these 17 goals, this is the way that they encapsulate them. No poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being. Now, mind you, they're talking about these things happening all over the world. Quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation, and infrastructure, reduced inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, protections for life below the water, protections for life on land, people, justice, and strong institutions, partnerships for all of these goals. This is what the world has rallied around. Well, a couple of days ago, in the 58th plenary meeting of the General Assembly. So the General Assembly is when all of the nations are there. Okay, so this is what the United States, through our representative, Edward Hurtney, this is just a couple of the sentences of what we told the world. Put simply, global endeavors like Agenda 2030 and the Sustainable Development Goals, that those things lost at the ballot box. He's saying in 2024, global endeavors and these things that I just read to you, that all of those things lost. Like the American people voted not to have those things. Therefore, the United States rejects and denounces the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and Sustainable Development Goals, and will no longer reaffirm them as a matter of course. Look at that list. No poverty, climate action, affordable and clean energy. When did we vote not to have these things? You can take it down now. I don't know what election you were in. Maybe you were in a different election. But I didn't see these things on the ballot. And us saying, no, this isn't what we want in the world. But this is what the United States just told the entire world a few days ago that we, the people of the United States, a couple of months ago, voted not to have any of that. No. That is against moral efficacy. That is against spiritual principle. That is against the very nature of a loving and kind and compassionate God. No. Listen to what I'm saying. We keep hearing this rhetoric about what we supposedly voted for. And it just becomes like absolutely overwhelming, all the different actions and things that are taking place. But implicit in this narrative that we voted for all this chaos, implicit in it is saying that we, the people, have chosen not to be a part of the rest of the world. There were only 3 countries a couple of days ago that renounced these global economic goals: the United States, Israel, and Argentina. Even if these things were a good idea, which they are not, no man is an island. No nation is an island. To whom much is given, much is required. We should be at the forefront. We should be at the vanguards. We should be using our might and our power to help, to not just suddenly renege and pull out of everything, out of research and development, out of medication and economic development. Just stop paying contracts and just shut everything down. Just a big screw you to everybody in the world. That's not who we are as a people. And we cannot acquiesce our voice and who we are, allowing a few people in positions of power to take actions that aren't even legal. No. Hear me. All of this has become politicized. But these global initiatives, it's not about politics. No. Clean energy, gender equality, economic development, health, well-being, being able to eat and not die of hunger, to not have to live in poverty. We got 1 billion people on the planet living on less than $1.25 a day. And almost another billion who are starving. And we're a breadbasket of the nation, of the world. even if we wanted to be that self-centered and narcissistic, we do not have the right. We do not have the right to consume all the resources, to have economic interests all over the world, to be controlling how much other people can have and cannot have, and not care, not be a part of them, not be a part of the world. History will not look kind upon us, let alone what's going on today. So I'm asking you, don't just talk about what we're against. That's a list. You can just look it up. You can just Google it. That's a list right there of what we do want. And quiet is kept. I really, in my heart, don't believe that the majority of the people that voted in this administration voted against all of that. The people who just wanted egg prices to come down, or who were just worried about whatever little thing they were worried about, I don't think that they were voting to say, we're gonna renege. We're just gonna step out of the world. We aren't even, we're gonna be in it. We're gonna mess with it. We're gonna use it, but we're not gonna be a part of uplifting everybody. Pandemics, economic crisis, and we're just gonna go around and take countries. I don't think we voted for that. And if you have children, if you have grandchildren, if you were all connected, they're watching us. They're learning and they're watching us. And we have to remind them of who we are, what we stand for, and what we are about. And contrary to what the United States just told the General Assembly of the United Nations a couple of days ago, they're wrong. We did not, at the last ballot box, vote away from all of that. And it's not too late. We have to stand up and vote for it now. Listen to what I'm saying. This isn't just about a UN issue. This is what's happening in the United States, where we're turning against all of those things here and around the world. Pain pushes until vision pulls. Be pulled by this. Be pulled by this. And in the announcements, I'm going to tell you about an upcoming workshop that we're sponsoring, coming up very soon on March the 22nd, 2025. Free to help you and everybody else get grounded in our capacity to speak from vision, to speak about what we do want and not just what we don't want. Take a breath. Let us pray. moment right now, we give thanks. Even in the midst, we give thanks. We give thanks for the wholeness. We give thanks for the truth. The truth that crushed the earth will rise and rise again. How grateful we are to be a part of the human family. And we take our rightful place as stewards, as caretakers of the planet, as compassionate, kind, and loving neighbors, as just societies. Breathe that in. We know that there's no person, place, or thing that can separate us from our divinity. It's always there. It's just a question of how much do we declare it. And in this moment right now, we stand in it, one with the only thing that is. We declare the I am that I am of our beingness. We have the fortitude. We have the courage. We have the conviction to stand up, to speak up, to show up, to live up to the incredible privilege and responsibility of what it means to be part of the human family at this moment in time. We are worthy of this moment in time. We say a blessing of enoughness and sufficiency for everyone. Enough food and clothing, enough shelter, renewable energy, safety, freedom from war and abuse and oppressions, the ability to thrive, to live happy and whole and healthy lives, to have freedom of choice, self-determination, to be able to love freely, to be able to take care of your family and each other, to live in places that are sustainable, environmentally friendly, where we give back to the earth and don't just extract. In this moment right now, I pray for forgiveness. Forgiveness for any way and all the ways in which we have abused each other and the planet, where we have forgotten our way and been lost. But like the prodigal, we return. We come to ourselves. We pivot. In this Lenten season, when things are being released, we release old attitudes of superiority and supremacy. We release greed, hoarding, and materialism. We release militarism. And we embody love, compassion, truth, transparency, dignity, respect, We participate in the circulation of the sharing of the resources that have come our way. There's only one source, and resources itself. And we let it flow effortlessly and easily, so that all may be fed. We live simply so that others can simply live, like the saying goes. We breathe this in. We let it find a resting place in our hearts. Giving it our full consent. We just say yes and allow it to be. So we keep taking these breaths. We're a praying community here. And if there's something heavy on your heart, if you have a prayer request, we invite you. We invite you to just give us a call. 831-465-9090 at extension 254. You can send us an email. The number 4 and the word prayer at innerlightministries.com. One of our prayer practitioners will get back to you. But know that as soon as you make that request, you're in the system. You're in our prayer echo chamber. Very confidential, skilled people. And the praying starts. It starts. And even if it's just something wonderful, maybe you got a new project that's birthing or live birth, you're bringing in a new person into the world. Anything you want us to stand in agreement with you in, or could be something about world affairs. Point is, you don't have to do it alone. If you find yourself grieving or need just that little extra spiritual support, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. It's free of charge. Of course, donations are greatly, greatly appreciated. Let's just take a breath. Yes. So if you're looking at this in real time, this would be the second Sunday of the month in March. We have a thing called Second Sunday Sunsets. If you're in the Santa Cruz area, you can check this stuff out on our calendar, where we meet about half an hour before sunset at the very end of 16th Avenue. It's something we've been doing in honor of Kathy Miles, who lived right there near that particular location, who made her transition just a few months ago. And it's hot off the press. I don't even have the post ready for you yet, but save the date and we'll get that material out to you. There's going to be a workshop. It's Saturday morning, March the 22nd, 2025, from 10 a.m. to noon Pacific time. It's a play shop. It's a very, very interactive play shop called Pulled by Vision. Pulled by Vision, where we're going to be talking about critical topics, and you have a chance to just take a look to see how are you speaking about these issues. We'll do visionings about them, and you can compare what you're saying with what's calling for the highest unfoldment of this issue. And to bring those things into alignment so that our words are actually mirroring what's being revealed to us in our visionings. I'm going to be the lead facilitator. I'll be leading us through the empowerment exercises and the visualizations. There'll be facilitated pods where you'll actually be doing the work and the sharing. It's free via Zoom. Spread the word and be sure to bring some blank paper, pens, colored markers, crayons for the visioning process. We look forward to seeing you there. As we take another breath, this is our time of conscious giving. This is our time when we participate in that divine circulation, where we say yes, where we register that we're on board with the rest of the world in making this place more just and more sustainable. You'll see on your screen that there are some different ways in which you can make that contribution. You can use the QR code there. It'll take you to a payment portal where you can use a debit card, a credit card. You can use your PayPal account. There's an option there to do a reoccurring donation. And I want to encourage you to do that because that's what gives us the footing that we need to be able to plan, to be able to have our offices and do our programming, to get this word out. So if you are appreciating this message and you want to see it get out there even further, I want to invite you to make that contribution. You can do a text to give at 831-231-0065. Once again, there's reoccurring option. And if you use that option, you can also connect directly to an account if you don't want to use a card. If you're on our website, you can go right there. There are the donate buttons that are there, Cash App, $ Inner Light Ministries, or you can mail it in. No parcels here, but you can certainly mail in checks or any other kind of correspondence to P.O. Box 1029, SoCal, California 95073. I'm going to invite you now, as we're preparing these gifts and these offerings. I say thank you to those of you who do give, and particularly those of you who are giving on any kind of a consistent basis. We're so grateful for that support. I invite you to repeat after me. My every act produces abundance. I dare to give freely unto the truth that sets us free. I release this gift, knowing it returns to me, knowing it returns to us 1,000-fold. Remember, your generosity returns to you. It is not a one-way street. The more you give, the greater is your capacity to receive. I want to thank all of you for being here. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this, share it, and as always, take this consciousness and multiply it.